Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy George coming back with another bullish video. And if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. And if you're returning, you're an OG. And today I'm going to be talking about ICP, Internet Computer, what I believe is the most undervalued crypto in the market. And currently, we're at a price of $6.04 with a bit over a 3 billion market cap. So we're slowly climbing up the staircase. And today I'm going to be starting on X. And my first post is from Income Sharks. And it says, this is going to be a staircase cycle where prices are going to go up longer than people think, but at a slower rate. To be honest, this is almost better than the elevator cycle because you'll walk away with more money. Violent pumps meant violent dumps. This rate is great. And you hear him. And this only brings me to one quick thing. So what do you guys think is going to be happening right now? Because if we look at the US dollar, we are currently down compared to all the other SPR or SDR currencies. So let's just do a few of them. So we got right now the US dollar compared to the pound, to the Great Britain pound. And from year to day, we're down 8.47%. And let's look at the euro. Compared to the euro, we're down 10.53%. And compared to the Swiss franc, we're down 11%. And the Swiss franc is not a part of the SDR, but it's also a very important coin. And I'm only saying this because right now, BRICS and G7 are going at it because they're trying to take control and see who can take control of the currency and become the new standard. And I actually have something from the BRICS summit right here. This is from their declaration. So two of them that stood out to me was 9 and 10. And on number 9, it says, recalling that 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, a war which brought untold sorrow to humankind, particularly in Europe, Asia, Africa, the Pacific, and other parts of the world. We render our full support to the UNGA Resolution 79272 on the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. On this historic event, which established the conditions for the creation of the United Nations, designed to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. And number 10, it says, on the 80th anniversary, we reiterate the urgent need to reform the Bretton Woods institution to make them more agile, effective, credible, inclusive, fit for purpose, unbiased, accountable, and representative, enhancing their legitimacy. First and foremost, they must reform their governance structure to reflect the transformation of the global economy since their establishment. The voice and representation of EMDEs in the BWI must reflect their increasing weight in the global economy. Moreover, we call for improved management procedures, including through a merit-based and inclusive selection process that would increase regional diversity and representation of EMDEs in the leadership of the IMF and the WBG, as well as the role and share of women at the managerial level. And what I got out of this is BRICS came together because they're pretty much tired of G7 having control. And Vladimir Putin, he actually spoke about this, basically saying that he wants the BRICS to have more control because they have a good amount of the population within the world. So let's hear that real quick.
BRICS countries account not only for a third of the world's land area and nearly half of the planet's population, but also for 40% of the global economy, with a combined GDP at purchasing power parity already reaching $77 trillion. This is according to IMF data for the year 2025. By the way, in this regard, BRICS significantly surpasses some other groups, including the Group of Seven. There, the figure is $57 trillion.
So you hear him. He's calling out the group of seven. That's the G7. And that's mainly like the United States, Canada, and a lot of European countries. So a lot of these other countries, they are not really messing with what's going on right now.
Year after year, the authority and influence of our association in the world continue to grow. BRICS has rightfully established itself as one of the key centers of global governance and the strong voice of our countries in support of the fundamental interests of the global majority is being heard.
And this is important because these are the BRICS countries right here. So we got Brazil, China, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Indonesia, Iran, Russian Federation, South Africa, and the United Arab Emirates. And these countries, so BRICS is just the original five, and they also have BRICS Plus. So these are extra countries wanting to be a part of BRICS. And America doesn't like that because Trump in G7, they had a meeting before BRICS recently, and Trump basically sent for Iran to get blown up. So just know Trump's not playing with G7. Trump's not playing with BRICS, but BRICS is not playing with G7 either. So it's a competition right now. But and these are the G7 countries: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and United Kingdom, and the United States. So it's crazy to think, right? In Europe, Russia is not really messing with France, Germany, and United Kingdom. So just know there's a separation within Europe. Okay, but let's get back to Twitter. And I got something from Crypto Beast. ICP is setting up for a big run. I'm not a chart guy, I'm a pattern investor. Most of the legit projects went or going on a nice run. ICP is next. Like I said before, you will wake up and wish you brought more under $10. So we will see. And like I said, I love ICP, so I'm gonna be stacking up. Now we got something from ICP Hub Indonesia, and it says Jack Dorsey just dropped BitChat, a decentralized peer-to-peer chat app that works without the internet using BLE mesh and end-to-end encryption. The future of communication is local, trustless, censorship resistant. Let's build more of this on chain. So, more things getting built through ICP. Okay, now we got something from Well Guru. It says biggest bull run ever starting Monday. So, as you can see, the patterns are looking good for us to get that next bull run. So, we are going to see. And you see, someone said at church on Sunday, praying for that bull run. What, you trying to pay off your house, man? I feel that. I feel that. Now we got something from Mario Nafal, and it says Nvidia is now worth more than, well, basically everyone else. Nvidia, 4 trillion valuation isn't just historic, it's comically massive. It's now worth more than Meta and Alphabet combined, more than Microsoft, more than Apple and Amazon together. At this point, Nvidia could probably buy Netflix, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and still have money left to build its own theme park. So you see that Nvidia is over Meta and Alphabet combined, over Microsoft, Costco, all the biggest companies in the world. And let's see what the Nvidia CEO said. He said, China is moving incredibly fast in AI. Jensen Huang said China is accelerating AI on all fronts: infrastructure, models, and real-world applications. China is fast to both invent a new technology, but also to integrate the technology, to apply the technology. And because there's so much competition in China, everybody wants to build a great company and wants to succeed. A lot of great capabilities come out. And the foundation of all of that is China's education system has produced some of the world's finest AI researchers. About 50% of the world's AI researchers are based here in China. And you hear that. So just remember, China is a part of BRICS. So China, they technically don't mess with the United States. So just know we're technically kind of enemies right now. And how you know we're enemies? Because The United States and Trump himself said that he's adding an extra 10% tariff onto anybody a part of BRICS. So he's just letting them know they're the ops. And let's see what the Nvidia president said. And I'm going to speed this up. Here we go.
AI in China. Remember, AI is the infrastructure technology. It's the computer technology, chips, systems, networking, infrastructure. And then on top, AI is the models and applications. So it's really 3 layers: the computer, the model, and the application. China is moving incredibly fast because the model layer with DeepSeek and
I know for a fact, I know you guys remember when DeepSeek came out, like the first GitHub repository that was posted on there, if I'm correct, was like ICP Shark or IC something. So just know, that's why I'm saying we have the world computer for decentralization. That's why I love ICP. And remember, we are the leading blockchain in AI technology. Do not sleep on ICP. We're making a whole new infrastructure for AI where everything is fully decentralized. So all these governments that basically have separate agendas, they're going to be able to have sovereignty over their information.
Alibaba QN and Moonshot, Kimi, right? All excellent technologies. And in fact, DeepSeek is the world's first open source reasoning model. And it was a breakthrough, no question a breakthrough. And so at the model layer, the technology is advancing very quickly. But the application layer, China's moving so fast. So many different applications.
So my question is, if that was groundbreaking, what is Caffeine going to do when it rolls out and all of the different people, Gen Z, TikTok, and everybody's able to build on Caffeine? Will we have an inflow of billions of people onto Web3 and the internet computer?
You know, China is fast to both invent a new technology, but also to integrate the technology, to apply the technology. And because there's so much competition in China, right? So many people, everybody wants to build a great company or great new business and wants to succeed. A lot of great capabilities come out. And at the foundation of all of that is China's education system has produced some of the world.
All I know is if the United States wants to become the cryptocurrency blockchain AI capital of the world, they will have to, and I mean have to, understand ICP and what the internet computer is doing. They're allowing a tamper-proof technology, and they're allowing sovereignty, meaning that you have full control over your data. So all these different servers in China and these other countries that keep hacking our servers, we could stop that.
World's finest AI researchers. About 50% of the world's AI researchers are based here in China. And so you're rich with science and math and computer science, and it's very unique. So the ecosystem is quite dynamic.
So just remember that China is pushing in AI. They're not playing around. But on to the next post from Income Sharks. It says, it's been a while since we've seen 8 green daily candles for Ethereum. And as you can see right now, y'all, can we even be mad? Ethereum was getting made fun of and ridiculed for years. People who were Ethereum holders got treated like people who were XRP holders. And sometimes even worse, if you were an Ethereum holder, people would look at you and be like, you're holding Ethereum? But for those people that stood strong and stayed in Ethereum, you're finally starting to get the reward because it's the second biggest crypto. That means at some point, the big institutions were going to start inflowing money into it. But like I said, it sometimes takes a long time of going sideways before you start seeing the adoption. You start seeing people wanting to be a part of the coin. And that only means that people are going to start looking and institutions are going to start looking for something better than Ethereum and something that's even more innovative. And that's where I see ICP stepping in. Okay, but let's get on to the next post. We got something, and this was a post from Donald Trump. It says, Bitcoin, greatest explanation of all time. And let's hear this. And this is the Bitcoin historian. It says, breaking, the president of the United States just posted a 3-minute explanation of Bitcoin on social media. Let's hear.
And I'm the director.
And I'm going to speed it up too, you guys.
Of research at Coin Center, an independent nonprofit focused on the public policy issues affecting cryptocurrency and public blockchain networks. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the world's first cryptocurrency, and it works because of the world's first public blockchain network. What does Bitcoin do? It's simple. It lets you send and receive value to and from anyone in the world using nothing more than a computer and an internet connection.
So just remember that Bitcoin's the first innovation allowing you to send money peer to peer through your computer.
Now, why is it revolutionary? Because unlike every other tool for sending money over the internet, it works without the need to trust a middleman. The lack of any corporation in between means that Bitcoin is the world's first public digital payments infrastructure. And by public, I simply mean available to all and not owned by any single entity. Now, we have public infrastructure for information, for websites, for email. It's called the internet. But the only public payments infrastructure that we have is cash, as in paper money. And it only works in face-to-face transactions.
And this is why ICP is so important. It's allowing Bitcoin to be fully on chain with chain key Bitcoin.
Before Bitcoin, if you wanted to pay someone remotely over the phone or the internet, then you could not use public infrastructure. You would rely on a private bank to open their books and add a ledger entry that debits you and credits the person you're paying. And if you both don't use the same bank, well, then there'll be multiple banks and multiple ledger entries in between. With Bitcoin, the ledger is the public blockchain, and anyone can add an entry to that ledger, transferring their Bitcoins to someone else. And anyone, regardless of their nationality, race, religion, gender, sex, or creditworthiness, can for absolutely no cost create a Bitcoin address in order to receive payments digitally. Bitcoin is the world's first globally accessible public money. Is it perfect? No.
And the internet computer is the world's first decentralized, fully on-chain stack, allowing you to have tamper-proof technology, allowing you to store all your data on-chain on your device without a password.
Neither was email when it was invented in 1972. Bitcoin's not the best money on every margin. It's not yet accepted everywhere. It's not used often to quote prices, and it's not always a stable store of value. But it is working, and the mere fact that it works without trusted intermediaries is amazing. It's a computer science breakthrough, and it will be as significant.
So you hear him saying how Bitcoin is a computer science breakthrough, and we already know that Ethereum was the second innovation. Now, if these two are considered computer science breakthroughs, we have something that's fully on-chain, on the blockchain, and we also are able to create apps by talking to our phones or typing into the chat app on the computer. You can create a whole app. That's true innovation right there, you guys.
Freedom, prosperity, and human flourishing as the birth of the internet. And Bitcoin is just the beginning. If we can replace private payments infrastructure, then we can replace other private choke points to human interaction as well. Now, why should we want to build more public infrastructure? Why should we embrace blockchains over corporate intermediaries? Why should we tolerate their inefficiencies and work to make them better? Why should we want the pioneers of this technology here in the United States and not fleeing overseas? A simple...
And you hear that? This is what I'm saying. It's now the race for who's going to control blockchain technology. And my question is, Bitcoin is amazing. It's the first cryptocurrency ever created. It's the new digital gold. But where are people going to be able to build full apps, run their AI on chain and everything? Only on ICP, you guys. We've been doing 100 years worth of work. And right now we're just going overlooked. But do you think we will go overlooked forever? I wonder if Donald Trump will ever even discover ICP.
Reason. Because the corporate intermediaries providing today's critical but privately owned infrastructure are becoming fewer, larger, and more powerful, and their failures are increasingly grave. So roughly half of all Americans, 143 million people, had their social security numbers exposed to hackers because of a breach at Equifax.
And you hear that. We have people's social security numbers exposed to hackers. And remember, the people who own these big tech companies, they just keep getting richer and richer. So cryptocurrency was put here to do the wealth transfer so the richer can't keep getting richer. And on top of that, we don't have to keep going through them as the middlemen, because that can get annoying, especially the fact that they're just leaking our information and that the whole Web 2 infrastructure is not even fully secure.
The SWIFT network has relayed hundreds of millions of dollars in fraudulent transactions because of hacked member banks in Bangladesh, Vietnam, Ecuador, and Russia. The FBI suspects now that the largest of these hacks was perpetrated by North Korea. Corrupt, low-level employees at an Indian bank, Punjab National, were able to fraudulently certify SWIFT messages, stealing $1.8 billion. It's the largest electronic bank robbery in history. In fact, it's the largest bank robbery in history. In October 2016...
And the only way we will be able to stop all of this is with the internet computer and what Definity created. Because at the end of the day, Bitcoin is like you're able to send money peer to peer through the blockchain. But outside of that, nothing else is on the blockchain. Everything else, like building actual apps and building through Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, that's all you can do. So pretty much Bitcoin, digital gold, XRP to replace the Swift system, Ethereum, that's supposed to be where you can create apps and smart contracts. But the internet computer, it has all of those things in one place. And on top of that, with more features. That's super fundamental right there, you guys.
An estimated 1.2 million internet-connected devices were hacked and turned into a botnet that for several hours made prominent websites unavailable across Europe and North America, including CNN and Fox News, the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal. Increasingly, physical machines are being connected to the internet to augment their capabilities. They're wired through servers that are owned and maintained by private and trusted intermediaries, the so-called Internet of Things. Pacemakers from St. Jude's Hospital have been hacked. Baby monitors from TrendNet have been hacked. And Jeeps.
And remember, India and China over there, they got math and science wizards. So just know they going crazy with the AI. And if they don't already know about the blockchain technology between Definity and ICP, I wonder how people are going to start using it.
From Jeep have been hacked to the point where they can be remotely commandeered and driven off the road. Now, those vulnerabilities are inescapable in systems that have single points of failure. It doesn't matter if the point of failure is a corporation
ICP has no single point of failure.
or if it's a government. There shouldn't be a single point of failure. Similar choke points existed before the internet. If you wanted to deliver a message, you'd have to go through one of 3 television broadcasters or a handful of newspapers. Private corporations are essential, but no critical infrastructure should rely on 1 or 2. The internet removed single points of failure in communications infrastructure and ushered in a wave of competition among new media corporations building on top of its public rails. Blockchains can similarly disintermediate critical payments and IoT infrastructure. The technology is not yet ready to answer all of those questions today, but it is our best hope. And as with the internet in the 1990s, we need a light touch, pro-innovation policy to ensure that these innovations flourish in America for the benefit and security of all Americans.
So, Donald Trump, this is directly to you. You better hop on ICP. You better look into the internet computer, or you gonna be mad. Because if China gets their hands on this and they start messing with it more, we gonna see what happens. So now we got something from Bitcoin Archive. It says breaking. 74% of all Bitcoin is now held by long-term holders, a 15-year high. Nobody's selling. And it says, what happens when demand spikes again? And you see the chart. Bitcoin, the holders from the long-term holders is getting stronger and stronger. So just know more and more people are getting into Bitcoin, and they're starting to understand the blockchain and what Bitcoin's capable of doing. So soon people will start understanding what ICP is. Because think about it. Right now people are understanding what Ethereum is, but ICP is doing all the work behind the scenes. So don't worry, just pack your bags, man. Be ready. And we got something from AM Speed. Let's go. It says, alert, not today, Johnny. Updated. When uploading a photo on Road Patrol, it gets automatically converted to WebP with 90% quality, which optimizes the image significantly, but still keeps the quality pretty much the same. Also, the AI said no to Johnny uploading explicit images. So let's see. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Okay. And is this the same app that won first place at the hackathon? So he added an explicit photo. So that's one thing about ICP and Definity that people don't like, that you can't do explicit photos and there's not much gambling. But I believe that's something that can get added later once we become an infrastructure that's usable for things that are important, like the government and the medical field. Once we're accepted by those things, everything else can be added on. All right, now let's go to Juan P. And he said, it's literally the best time in history to buy ICP. While ICP sits at historic lows versus Bitcoin, Its live tech is peaking with Caffeine AI, massive success. Risk drops daily as Definity delivers constantly. We're living one of those rare moments that'll feel obvious in hindsight. And that's true. We're going to see what happens through time. And now we got something from Blockchain Pill, and it says, I'm confident that Caffeine AI will go viral outside of crypto bubble once the first people start making money with it. Imagine the Gen Z TikToks. I coded this app in just 3 hours, and it's making me thousands of dollars a week. It's a matter of time. And that's the not if caffeine. And like I said, more and more people will discover what Caffeine AI is capable of, and that you're able to create a dApp. Not just a regular app, but a dApp that's tamper proof. And once people start understanding that, and like he said, once people are creating apps in 3 hours and they're getting paid out, that's going to be a little paradigm right there. That's definitely the paradigm shift. So now we got something from Jay Nolan. Let's go. And you see the cool photo. It says, the fact that anyone can make any app with Caffeine AI is like a golden asteroid hitting the earth and disseminating the old pre-fiat economy. My bad. It says, except you can own the new infrastructure now. ICP will rock the software world. Those in position will be a new class of wealthy. So just remember, y'all, we stand strong in the ICP gang, and I will never stop investing into ICP. And like I told y'all, I'm watching every day. I'm breathing on ICP. So we got a picture of Trump with Bitcoin. Breaking, Trump set to release Bitcoin and crypto report this week on July 22nd. So be on the lookout. So that's from right now, that's 2 days. Now we got something from Documenting Sailor, and it says, Michael Saylor, soon every billionaire will buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, and the supply shock will be so great that we will stop measuring Bitcoin in terms of fiat. And you got to think about this, you guys. Right now in your Roth IRA, you can buy Bitcoin, but technically, like Fidelity, they own your Bitcoin. They have custodial, like they own your Bitcoin. And people are going to start finding out, I can own my Bitcoin on a ledger, or I can have my Bitcoin in an Oizy wallet where I can grow it, I can own it, and it's actually mine, compared to when you have it through these different banks, through these different like type of retirement funds. Pretty much they control your Bitcoin. And that's not really the point of Bitcoin. It's for you to control your Bitcoin. Okay, and let's hear what Sailor has to say. And I'm going to speed it up. So here we go. Ooh. They're not allowing me to speed up.
But because once you get Bitcoin and it clicks in your mind, your immediate reaction is, oh, I got to hurry and buy as much as I can because someone else is going to go take all my Bitcoin away from me. So like in 2020, when I started buying Bitcoin, I was thinking, oh no, I got to do this in a hurry because someone's going to figure it out and the price is going to 10x.
And this is how I feel about ICP. It's doing everything Bitcoin is doing and more.
And I better get it before it 10x's. So, I mean, that's a natural reaction when it finally clicks in your head. Because you're thinking, why wouldn't every billionaire in the world go and buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, smash buy it overnight, and just to make $1 billion? Because why wouldn't they just want to make $1 billion or 5 billion or 10 billion or any amount of money? I mean, Bitcoin, it feels like in the early days the infinite money glitch, right? But
and literally, right now, cryptocurrency in general is the infinite money glitch. It's people turning $500 into $50,000. So do not sleep on crypto. Do not sleep on the gains. Okay, now we got something from Elon Musk. And it says this will become normal in a few years. And it says Optimus serving popcorn is the best thing you'll see on the internet today. And I'm not going to use the sound because I'm not trying to get copyrighted. And it would play the sound, y'all. All right, and let's see Optimus serving. In a year from now, or not a year, in a few years from now, what if they have robots like this, working at the movie theater, because realistically, they'll be able to take the money that you owe. They'll be able to give you the popcorn. And on top of that, they probably have way better customer service than a human. They probably just gonna have one human in there that knows how to actually work the robots. So that's crazy right there. This imagine this guy right here or it right here takes your job. Man, I'd be hurt. I ain't even gonna lie. And you heard Elon, this will become normal in a few years. Like I'm telling y'all, AI and everything is going to become more normal. You guys heard Bill Gates. He said we are overpopulated. He trying to get rid of people. All right, now we got something from Well Guru. It says breaking. Ethereum went from 120 to 4,500 last cycle. If it repeats that move from 1,000 base this time, we're looking at 16K minimum. Bull run just started. Ooh. So how do you guys feel about that? Because that is true. Ethereum did go from 120 to 4,500 last cycle, and we do have a new base. So that's a good thing to think about, because I feel like this is Ethereum's time to shine. And now we got something from ICP Hub Singapore, and it says congratulations, Aaron Ting 8, the founder of ICP Hub Indonesia's ICP Hub Singapore, was appointed as the ambassador of Singapore Governance Internet Forum. And you guys see that. This is the UN initiative and supported by Singapore government. We are planning to host an event during Token 2049. Singapore on 1st of October 2025. The 2025 Singapore Internet Governance Forum will feature keynotes or digital trust, global AI responsibility, and internet rulemaking alongside panels addressing AI governance, cross-border data flows, digital safety, smart notion inclusivity, and the future of Web3 and digital identity. So just keep that in mind. Aaron Ting, my guy, he is going up and doing things. He's going places, and he's going to take ICP with us. So don't be sleeping on ICP, because in Singapore right now, they not playing. Now we got something from we got something from Vivek, and it says Fed Chair Powell says banks are now free to provide services to Bitcoin and crypto industries. What a time to be alive. For reals. And let's hear what they got to say. Oh, we got the Mountain Valley water. Okay. Somebody knows something.
Crypto space.
So our view is that banks.
My bad. Let me put the volume back.
Crypto space.
So our view is that banks get to decide who their customers are. That's not our decision. And so banks are free to provide banking services to the crypto industry, to crypto companies. And banks are also free to conduct crypto activities as long as they do so in a way that is, protective of safety and soundness.
So think about this, you guys. If banks are allowed to provide services on Bitcoin in the crypto industry, then that means that financial advisors are now allowed to say that, yeah, you should buy this crypto. So imagine just with that paradigm right there, how many more people are going to start looking into cryptocurrencies, especially the fact that you can make more money on the crypto market than the stock market. People are going to be looking at crypto like, what is the next big thing? So just know right now we're going through a bunch of regulations. So don't even be tripping. Let the regulations happen. But just know ICP is moving sideways during these regulations. Don't be sleeping on the giant. Now we got something from Income Sharks. Let's go. It says Sol ETH. Solana already had its fun. Ethereum is doing to Solana what Solana did to Ethereum. You are better off just riding up what's hot right now, and that's on chain and Ethereum. And he said that's on chain and Ethereum, but Ethereum is not even truly on chain like ICP. And it's okay. Like they said, Solana, it had its time to shine. But right now, it's Ethereum's time to shine. And once people start realizing there's something even more stronger, even more faster and better than Ethereum, that's when it's going to be our time, guys. Let's just say we waiting here. Some of us patiently, some of us impatiently. And then it says Nvidia CEO Elon is a superhuman. It's just unbelievable. And Elon put, I resisted AI for too long, living in denial. Now it is game on. And what can that mean? And remember, Elon Musk, his brother Kimball, had met with Dominic. They were at a forum together. They were talking, and Kimball Musk definitely looked interested in what Dom was talking about. So we got to see, is Elon Musk going to make a power move in the AI space? And you heard that it says Jansen Huang reaction to Elon Musk did what would take them 4 years and 19 days. So imagine that. Someone like Elon Musk back in ICP would be crazy because that would mean that ICP would go on a crazy parabolic run. Now, this is all speculatory, but I believe it's possible. Anything is possible.
What they achieved is singular, never been done before. Just to put in perspective, a supercomputer that you would build would
We got the supercomputer over here.
take normally 3 years to plan, and then they deliver the equipment, and it takes 1 year to get it all working. Yes. We're talking about 19 days. Do you know how many days 19 days is? It's just a couple weeks. I mean, that is like superhuman. Yeah, and as far as I know, there's only one person in the world who can do that, you know? I mean, Elon is singular in his understanding of engineering and construction and large systems and marshaling resources. It's unbelievable.
And we got to remember, this is how a lot of these guys become billionaires because they're taking action. They're not waiting. They're taking action. So just remember, if the ICP price isn't going up, but you have access to Caffeine AI, think of a good app to create and sell to somebody. You can make some good money like that. Okay, and on to the next post from Shibo. It says, breaking, Saudi to invest 10 billion from their sovereign wealth fund into XRP. It says $5.89 is imminent. You see him, bro. You know, bro, put $10 billion. So don't sleep on that. XRP still has a chance to keep growing. And remember, XRP is replacing the SWIFT system. So it's not a bad investment. It's just it would have been smarter to get in at a lower market cap. Okay, now we got something from Coin Bureau. Bitcoin ETF inflows set to explode. Once financial advisors can recommend Bitcoin ETFs, inflows could skyrocket. With trillions in AUM on the line, this shift may trigger Bitcoin's next major leg up. And this is crazy right here because 2018, I was telling everybody about cryptocurrency, XRP in particular. I had people telling me, I don't care about digital money. I'm okay. Just for a year later, I see my friend posting in his story Dogecoin. So just know the paradigm will change, people will change, but you never change. You stand for what you believe in because that's what makes you a real one, and that's what makes you unique. So remember that. The fact that you believe in something like ICP and the fact that you believe in anything and you stand on what you believe in, even through the ups and the downs, that makes you a real one. So let's hear what they got to say right here.
Thing to remember about these ETF inflows, not just the surge we've seen recently, but since the beginning, because it's been an absolutely phenomenally performing ETF. And this is a very important point that's overlooked. This is being done with the asset managers not allowing their salespeople, their financial advisors, to recommend it. So that's extraordinary. That's like a shoe salesman not being able to recommend Nike, right? So that's going to change at some point. And I'll sort of leave it to your viewers to determine what happens when that thundering herd of brokers can actually pick up the phone and recommend this ETF.
And that's good. And it's okay, you guys. If people didn't want to listen to you when you told them to invest into ICP, Bitcoin, or any different crypto, it's okay. They thought, I'm going to invest into my stocks. I'm going to invest into this. They didn't want to diversify. It's okay. But when their advisor tells them, hey, you should look into getting Bitcoin. You should look into getting Ethereum. They going to think of you. And if they don't, it's okay because you're going to have money because you stayed down for the come up. Now we got something from Coin Bureau, and it says Ethereum is closing in on Exxon. Ethereum's market cap is now 429.9 billion, just shy of Exxon Mobil's 46.4 billion. That's digital oil, physical oil. We will flip MasterCard as well. DeFi, TradeFi. So imagine if Ethereum is doing this and putting up these type of numbers, imagine when people understand what decentralization is and the fact that we can take away power from central authorities. We could take away powers from the big corporations and we can give it back to us. We're going to see where ICP goes from there. Okay, on to the next post from Altcoin Daily. Realistic 2025 crypto price prediction. And let's see what bro got to say. Bitcoin 150K. Okay, see, he's being a little bit more realistic. Ethereum 5K. Chainlink $30. BNB 1K. Aptos $10. ICP 1,000. Oh shoot, it's not on the list. How you gonna forget ICP Altcoin Daily? You got me questioning if you've been really looking into the altcoins daily. Are you looking at the charts or the fundamentals, man? I got a question for you, and that's the question. So now we got trending Bitcoin. It says, no one should be surprised if Bitcoin hits 700K. Larry Fink. Larry Fink? Who is Larry Fink? This name is all too particular. Larry Fink is an American billionaire businessman. Is the CEO, is the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of BlackRock. Don't sleep on what bro's saying. I'm not saying that he's wrong or right, but realistically, I don't know. I don't think it's going all the way up to 700K, but I wouldn't be surprised. So now we got something from Jack ICP. It says, I want to use caffeine. This guy has created this dApp via Caffeine AI, and it's looking very good, also very smooth. Please provide me code. Please provide me one too, Dom. Come on, man. I'm trying to make a pandemonium. And look at this app, y'all. And this is a tool for Fun AI, the wildest crypto miner health monitor. So just know, people are creating within Caffeine AI. And I'm going to be next, you guys. I'm going to be next. So now we got something from Sensei, and it says, rumor, Fed Chair Jerome Powell to resign this Monday. And we going to see, and someone said, Grok, is this true? So let's see. Is that going to be good or bad for crypto? So let's be watching the charts. Let's be watching the market. Now we got something from Next Gen Crypto. And this is a post about Algorand, another cryptocurrency that I'm very much interested in. So do not sleep on Algorand. And it says Algorand is on its way to becoming one of the top 5 blockchains. Made in America, that's very important. Instant finality, low fees, high throughput, less than 3-second block time, 0 downtime since launch, 0 forks, real world adoption, quantum secure, energy efficient. You see, it says what's coming to Algorand, a game-changing roadmap, a new retail adoption campaign, major partnerships, increased network decentralization, and of course, 0 downtime. So Algorand right now is like my next XRP play. Like I told y'all, I got ICP. That's my long-term play. I'm not really trying to get rid of ICP quickly. I'm trying to hold ICP. But Algorand, I'm trying to get anywhere from 20,000 shares, hopefully more. And I want to ride it up to past $1. And from there, I'm going to collect some partial profits, and I'm going to see where Algo goes, because I do still like it a bit as a long-term investment. But I'm also trying to make some money this year. So keep that in mind. And remember, alt season's coming. And it says from ICP Mint today. And this is for all the people doubting ICP. It says ICP is in the top 100 coin performance over 90 days. So in the last 90 days, we're up 19.58%. And you see us right here. We're not doing too bad. I mean, I would like to be above Shiba, but it's okay. And now I got something from Ayush. It says ICP is redefining what's possible. AI built 3D games, no code, fully on chain. And let's see what ICP Hub Egypt put. It says Habibi, come to ICP. Just 3 prompts and 3 minutes later into Caffeine AI, and I had a basic 3D first-person shooter built, rendered and running. Built where? On ICP, fully on chain. The only chain that natively connects Web 3 and Web 2. No code, no engines, just creativity. And let's see how it came out. This was created through caffeine, you guys, so you can create a game through caffeine. And me and my girl been talking about creating a game too on caffeine. Look at that. It's random, but this looks like any random game that someone would make for a phone and throw in the app store. So imagine you're able to create a game and put it in the app store. So you guys are saying this has no potential to go viral on TikTok? I believe this has all the potential. Okay, now we have another post from Elon Musk. And it says, definitely true for me. And let's see what bro's talking about. If you're ever feeling sad, just go for a run. Because then you'll realize that your physical health is way worse than your mental health. Bro, tell me about it. I learned that when I used to run track. First day in track, I remember I was trying to keep up with the people who've been training. I'm over here running 400 repeats. Bro, after like the third, fourth one, I was throwing up. But just know, y'all, I was fast on the track, though. But all right, last post from Mad Monkey. It says ICP isn't following the hype. It's leading a real revolution. And let's see what this has to say. So it says Caffeine AI is achieving the hardest thing in tech, exceeding expectations. Meanwhile, most cryptos are just smokes, empty promises, hype, illusions. But caffeine is landing with force as one of the most powerful tech products of our time. And guess what? It keeps getting better. This isn't hype. It's the beginning of something real. And those holding 1,000 ICP in the future will likely be rich. Internet computer, let's go. And this is the Tech Trinity. So you see that? That's the ICP with the Caffeine AI and the Motoko Ghost. Don't sleep on that. The postcode Silicon Valley for idea-driven innovators who do not write code. So that's for all of us who do not write code. And me, I know a little bit about code. I had a homie that taught me a little bit, but I'm definitely not as good as my homie, and I'm definitely not as good as a lot of people who have been deving. But all I gotta say is, if you're not invested into ICP, I don't know what you're doing. But thank you guys for watching, and y'all bless.